Welcome back to Auto Vista, where we bring you stories that go beyond the badge, machines with history, character, and purpose. Today's episode isn't about horsepower wars or cutting-edge tech. It's about something more timeless. We're diving into a legend, a truck that helped shape what we think of when we say, built tough. I'm talking about the 1957 Ford F100 4x4. Now, let's set the scene. It's the late 1950s. America's in a post-war boom, highways are expanding, suburban life is growing fast, and pickup trucks. They're no longer just farm tools. People are starting to see them as daily drivers, adventure rigs, and family haulers. Ford knew this shift was coming, and in 1957, they dropped a truck that would go on to become one of the most iconic pickups of all time. The 1957 Ford F100 4x4 wasn't just a pretty face. It was the first year that Ford completely redesigned the F-Series since its launch. The front end became wider, the body lines cleaner, and the whole truck sat lower and looked more modern, especially compared to the more upright, post-war look of earlier models. But what really made it stand out was something you couldn't see right away. For the first time ever, Ford offered four-wheel drive from the factory. No more aftermarket conversions or sending your new truck off to Marmon Harrington. This was Ford's own 4x4 system, and it changed the game. Let's talk styling for a second, because this truck had presence. The 1957 F100 came with that classic wraparound windshield, a flat and bold front grille, and fender-mounted headlights that looked strong and assertive. The body lines were clean, functional, and had just enough chrome to give it personality without being flashy. This was a working man's truck, no doubt, but it had style. And now, more than 6 decades later, it still turns heads whether it's restored, modified, or patina perfect. Under the hood, you had options. A 223 cubic inch inline 6 was standard, simple, reliable, and easy to maintain. But for those who wanted a little more grunt, Ford offered the legendary Y-block V8, specifically the 272 and 292 cubic inch versions. These were real-deal workhorse engines. Not huge numbers by today's standards, you're looking at around 170 to 200 horsepower depending on the spec, but they had torque, they had sound, and they had soul. Plus, paired with that new 4x4 system, the 57 F100 could finally go just about anywhere. And that 4x4 system, it was revolutionary. At the time, four-wheel drive wasn't something you saw every day. It was mostly for military or specialized vehicles. But Ford saw the future, and they made it available straight off the lot. It used a divorced transfer case and manual locking hubs, and while it wasn't the most refined setup in the world, it worked. Farmers loved it, ranchers loved it, loggers, oil workers, anyone who needed to get somewhere regardless of terrain, this was their truck. The suspension was solid axle front and rear, leaf springs all around. That meant durability over comfort, but that was the point. You could drive this thing across a field, through a muddy road, or over rocks, and it wouldn't complain. It was built with purpose. Now, inside the cab, things were about as straightforward as you'd expect. A big steering wheel, basic gauges, a metal dash, function over flash. But it had charm. The seat was a simple bench, big enough for 3. The windows were cranked, the air conditioning was, open the vent, or, roll down the window, and yet, there's something about sitting in one of these that just feels right. It's mechanical, it's honest, and it connects you to the road, or the trail, in a way modern trucks just can't. The 1957 F100 was more than just a truck. It was a turning point. It represented the shift from utility-only vehicles to the versatile, everyday-use pickups we know now. It blended work and personal life, city streets and backcountry roads. And Ford nailed the formula. Fast forward to today, and these trucks are hot property in the classic world. Collectors, restorers, and custom builders all want a piece of the 57 F100. And who can blame them? Whether you find one all-original with faded paint and farm dust still in the bed, or a resto-modded version with a Coyote V8 and coilover suspension, the bones are there. The soul is there. Restoring one of these trucks is like stepping back in time, but also bringing it forward. You can upgrade the brakes, swap the axles, give it modern power steering or disc brakes, but you're still connected to that 1957 DNA. That's what makes the F100 special. It's not just old, it's iconic. Now, when you see one driving down the road today, especially a 4x4, you know that's something unique. These weren't mass-produced in the way later F-Series trucks were. And especially not the 4x4 models. Those are rare. They were built tough, but they got used, they got worn out, they got worked hard. So when you find one that's still alive, or better yet, still running, you're looking at a piece of American history that didn't just survive, it earned its place on the road. There's a reason this truck keeps showing up at car shows, in garages, and in the dreams of gearheads everywhere. It's because the 1957 Ford F100 4x4 represents something bigger. It represents freedom, utility, and a kind of no-nonsense engineering that's become harder to find. So yeah, it might not have an infotainment system, or radar cruise control, or 10 gears to shift through. But what it does have is steel, style, and a story, and sometimes, that's more than enough. If you're lucky enough to own one, or if you're hunting one down, respect. You're keeping a legend alive. And if you've never seen one up close, trust me, next time you do, stop and take a look. You'll understand. Thanks for riding along with us today here on Auto Vista. If you like this deep dive into the 1957 Ford F100 4x4, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more classic truck content, and drop us a comment. Have you ever driven one of these? Owned one? Or are you dreaming of building your own? We want to hear your story. Until next time, keep it classic, keep it real, and keep watching Auto Vista. We'll see you down the road.